What's up, guys? This is Jay from COI. So, I have some fairly bad news for President Donald Trump. Some new polls came out today, and they showed Biden leading in everything. Everything from coronavirus, which is, let's be honest, that's the hot button topic right now, to economics. Economics has been Trump's strong suit. Just has been, even the polling from 4 years ago with him against Hillary Clinton, Trump still had her beat in economics. And sure, there's a lot of people who are going to say, yeah, and I remember those polls from last year, and it looked like Hillary was going to clobber him, and he still won. So what's different? Well, we don't have as many people who are going to be closet Trump supporters. A lot of people have seen, well, Trump has done pretty well, and I don't see why voting for him is as bad as it was. He wasn't the long shot that he was 4 years ago. Uh, and especially when you look at the alternative. And when you really want to get down into the nitty gritty of it, and you talk about legislation, Trump and Obama were not that far apart as far as economic failures and successes, military failures and successes, immigration. Both were fairly stalled out on immigration. But so it doesn't seem as far-fetched to vote or support Trump. And you have to also realize that prior to this presidential election, during the Clinton-Trump election, if you voted for Hillary, you were voting for a woman president. You weren't voting for Hillary Clinton. And if you voted against Hillary Clinton, it's because, well, you don't like women. It's the same thing as if you didn't vote for Barack, you didn't like black people. This is different, though. It's two old white guys. Both of them are hot off of, sexual accusations, namely Biden being the most relevant in that right now. And neither one really promising major things. So you would think all of that adds up to really help Trump. And, might I add too, the levels of enthusiasm. Biden supporters are not very excited to support Biden. With enthusiasm, the very enthusiastic people amongst the Biden supporters, they rank at about, I think, 26% are really excited to vote for Biden. Meanwhile, Trump supporters, 53, are super, super excited to vote for him. Want to give him 4 more years. So why? Why is all this happening? It's a coronavirus. That's basically it. And it's not, if you believe it, don't believe it, it doesn't matter, because where we're at is the economy. The economy is in shambles, and the people want one of two things. They want to believe that, hey, if we all go back to work, everything's going to return to normal. Well, it's not. And we've seen a projected 5 years from now, we're still going to be at about 15% unemployment. That is staggering. And they don't believe that Trump and the GOP, namely, and this has to do much with Mitch McConnell, are going to do anything to stimulate the economy, besides trying to do what they did before. A completely different way, though. You look, the economic recovery we had after the Great Recession, I mean, it took all of 8 years, 6 years. Trump's not going to have the time. He's going to have to do something different. And all he's really calling for is the same corporate bailouts he did before. The same ones that we always hear. Well, we need a capital gains tax cut. We need, the other big one they're pushing for is liability protection from people who want to maybe sue their company or sue a corporation from what they were interacting with and they catch coronavirus. It's a real concern. And look, I'm not really against either one of those if they are in tandem with another plan. But there isn't another plan. It's just those two things. So we've seen those things. And this economy and this problem is a bottom up, not a top down. And McConnell and the GOP and Trump are treating it like a top down because that's how they treat all economy problems. Take care of the top and it'll go down to the bottom. And it never does. Not fully. This is one where they're going to have to support the base first, and we will build up. And I don't think, when you look at the numbers too, a lot of people don't believe Biden is going to do the same thing. But I think they believe economically he's going to do a little bit more to support the lower class and the middle class. And I'm not celebrating over this. I am no Biden supporter, and I think this is pretty bad. Because it's not just the presidential election. It's not just Trump-Biden. It's also the Senate. The Senate race is incredibly close this year. And with the response from the GOP, they're not winning supporters over. In fact, there's a lot of people, namely like senior citizens and people like that, who are leaving the Republican side. They don't want to deal with them. They believe that they don't care about them. And senior citizens have said outright, the country is moving too fast. They want to open up too quickly. Too many people are going to die. Too many people are going to get sick. Democrats are wanting to slow it down. So they're picking up the elderly vote. And you combine all of that together. You could have the blue wave that they were talking about 2 years ago. Again, I don't really want that, if I'm honest. A neoliberal Senate with a neo-lib president, it's something I can't afford. And I don't think a lot of other people can either. And it's not... Let me tell you why. One of the big reasons I'm not for it as a progressive. Because somebody like Joe Biden's actions tend to reflect upon my ideology. People say, well, you got your guy in there. And he's not my guy. He didn't stand for anything I stand for. In fact, he's a little too liberal when it comes to social issues. But I don't care about that. What I care about is the economy, military, things like that. And he is very hawkish and very, very much in support of Big Daddy Corporation. So we're going to see more, tax cuts and bailouts and, a real red carpet for big corporations. I mean, they used to call Biden the senator from MBNA. I mean, what does that tell you? And the worst part is the Democrat Party is going to believe, hey, well, this is how we win. So we'll never change. We'll keep going with this neo-lib bullshit. And that's why I actually am not happy to see these polls. One other thing I was going to mention on this in the polls that came out, what was interesting, I thought, was who would do a better job on China. And Biden is beating Trump by 11 points. That I find very interesting. I wish I could explain why. I really don't know. It seems to me that Trump has been very harsh on China, and Biden has been outright defending China up until the outbreak. I mean, even as late as, I think, February, Biden was calling Trump on being a bigot because he wanted to close down the borders and not let people from China into our country. If I remember right, it was Biden who was up there, on his soapbox saying Trump's a bigot. So why do so many people think Biden's going to do a better job? And by the way, that was the most favorable to Trump, that poll, and that was a Fox News poll. And Biden was beating him by 11 points. That's crazy. That's really insane. But yeah, and there is some polls that differ. The best Trump gets for his, category, which is economics, is a 3-point lead. over Biden, and that is that same that same Fox News poll that I was talking about. But when you average all of them together, you find out that Biden actually has a 5-point lead over Trump in economics, and yeah, it's not good. It's not good for the Trump team. Anyway,